Okay, let's talk about something that so many of us are feeling these days, brain fog. You know that feeling, right? Like your mind is just stuck in first gear. We're going to dive into why this happens and, more importantly, what you can actually do to clear that haze and get your edge back. So, let's get into it.
First things first, if you're feeling this way, trust me, it is not just you. This isn't some personal failing. It's a huge, widespread issue that was already growing way before the pandemic. That tells us the roots of this problem go a lot deeper than we think.
So, does this sound familiar? You just feel like life is heavier than it's supposed to be. It's not just about being tired. It's like there's this invisible weight, a barrier that you just can't seem to push through to feel sharp and on your game.
And it always seems to hit at the worst possible time, right? You sit down to do some work, to really focus, and boom, this weird dullness and slowness just washes over you. It's so frustrating because you know you're capable, but it feels like your brain is on a dial-up connection in a fiber optic world.
And it even creeps into just talking to people. You're right in the middle of a sentence, and the word you're looking for just poof, it vanishes. It's that constant tip of your tongue feeling, and it just chips away at your confidence.
And maybe the worst part? That spark? You know, the actual excitement for your work, your hobbies, for just life. It feels like it's slowly draining away, and it's being replaced by this persistent, low-grade fog. Okay, so if we want to fix this, we have to totally reframe how we think about our minds. We need to stop seeing the brain as this magical, limitless machine. The reality is, it's a biological circuit. A powerful one, for sure, but it has limits, and it runs on a very old, very specific master algorithm. So here's the deal. We have this myth that our brain has infinite processing power. But the reality is, it's got hardware limitations, just like your phone or your laptop. You can't just keep opening tabs forever without it slowing down. Understanding this is the key to working with your brain instead of constantly fighting against it. And this right here, this is why it has those limits. Your brain is an absolute energy hog. Get this, it's only about 2% of your body weight, but it devours 20% of your daily calories, a fifth of your energy. Every single thought has a real cost, which means your brain has to be super careful with its energy budget.
So that master algorithm, its basic operating system, it follows two unbreakable laws. Law number one, protect life. That means avoid all perceived damage, physical or otherwise. And law number two, be efficient. Conserve those calories at all costs. Everything your brain does gets filtered through these two ancient prime directives.
So how in the world does this ancient survival code lead to that foggy feeling we get trying to answer emails? Well, it all comes down to a critical survival instinct, the brain's freeze mode, and we're going to see how that instinct is totally misfiring in the modern world. To really get this, listen to the tragic story of Harry Farr, a soldier in World War I. He was actually executed for cowardice because he would freeze in battle. But what they saw as a moral failure, we now know was a deep biological response. When a threat is so overwhelming that you can't fight it and you can't run from it, the brain has a third option: freeze, shut down.
And here is the absolute core of our problem. Our brains evolved to handle threats like a lion. It's intense, it's terrifying, but it's short. Either the lion gets you or it goes away. But our modern lions, they're things like deadlines, endless social media feeds, constant bills. They're psychological, not physical. And the worst part, they never, ever leave.
And because these modern lions never actually go away, that temporary freeze response never gets the signal to turn off. It just becomes the new default setting. Your brain gets stuck in this low-power, protective mode, and that is what we experience as permanent brain fog. So what's actually happening under the hood? Well, your brain's algorithm does a quick calculation. It realizes that spending a ton of energy on things like creative thinking or long-term planning isn't helping you escape the lion. So to conserve energy for a battle it thinks it can't win, it just starts cutting power to those executive functions. That feeling of not being motivated? That's not laziness. It's your brain going into power saver mode.
So the big question is, how do we get out of this state? Well, we can't change that ancient algorithm, but what we can do is change the signals we're sending it. The whole trick is to consciously give our brain the signals it needs to hear, the signals that say, hey, the threat is gone, you are safe, it's okay to power back up.
And thankfully, there are 3 really powerful, practical ways to send those safety signals and reboot your system. First, we'll talk about building a structured life. Second, triggering what's basically Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. And third, the crucial process of cleaning out yesterday's mental trash. All right, first up, structure. Why is this so important? Because structure closes all those open loops in your mind. You know, all those half-finished tasks and undecided things that are just running in the background, draining your mental battery. Having a routine reduces all that noise and sends a powerful signal to your ancient brain that things are predictable and under control. That, in turn, physically lowers your stress hormones. Next, that Miracle-Gro for your brain. It's a real thing, a protein called BDNF, and you don't need a prescription to get it. All it takes is 20 minutes of aerobic movement. Yeah, that's it. Just a brisk walk, a jog, anything that gets your heart rate up. This directly tells your brain to grow new connections, and, as a massive bonus, it helps flush out the stress hormone cortisol that's clouding up your thinking.
And hack number 3 is all about your brain's nightly cleaning crew. It's called the glymphatic system, and the best way to think about it is as your brain's internal sewage cleaning network. This is literally what happens. When you're in deep sleep, your brain cells actually shrink a little to let fluid wash through and clear out all the metabolic junk that built up during the day. If you don't get that deep sleep, the junk is still there in the morning. That's brain fog.
So how do you make sure that cleaning crew can do its job? Here is the simplest, most effective fix you can start tonight. Turn off all your screens, phone, TV, laptop, at least 45 minutes before you go to bed. That blue light from the screens actively blocks the hormone you need to get into that deep, restorative, brain-washing sleep. This one tiny change can make a huge difference.
So, let's bring this all home. The biggest takeaway here is about shifting your perspective. You are not a victim of your brain's programming. You are the user. You're the one sitting at the keyboard. And once you understand how the hardware works, you can start giving it the right commands.
So please, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Your brain isn't broken. You're not lazy. Your brain is a finely tuned survival machine that is doing the absolute best it can to protect you in a world it was never, ever designed for. The fog isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that your system is stressed out.
And so I want to leave you with one final actionable question. Knowing that structure signals safety to your brain, what is the one open loop? That one nagging email, that one little task you keep putting off? What is the one loop you can close right now, today? Just pick one. Close it. And you will have already sent the first signal that you're taking back control, and you're on your way to clearing the fog.